I have grave concerns that the CIA's search may well have violated the separation of powers principles embodied in the United States Constitution. Besides the constitutional implication, the CIA's search may also have violated the Fourth Amendment, the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act, as well as Executive Order 12333, which prohibits the CIA from conducting domestic searches or surveillance.
That was this morning. 1 week ago, reports surfaced that the Central Intelligence Agency may have spied on the Senate Intelligence Committee because of CIA concerns regarding the committee's report on the agency's detention and interrogation program under President George W. Bush. Today, Senator Dianne Feinstein, the chair of the Intelligence Committee and someone who often acts in defense of intelligence gathering, came out to confirm that she believes these reports to be true, that the CIA did in fact spy on another branch of government, and she believes that may have been unconstitutional. Feinstein also said the CIA had removed hundreds of classified documents from the committee's investigation. In a 40-minute speech on the Senate floor this morning, Feinstein explained that contrary to some reports, her staff had lawfully accessed a copy of the CIA's internal review known as the Panetta Review, an internal review of the detention program. They used CIA search tools on a computer provided by the CIA. But rather than asking the Senate committee how it obtained the agency's internal review, the CIA opted instead to just search the committee's computers. Feinstein's source on this? CIA Director John Brennan.
On January 15, 2014, CIA Director Brennan requested an emergency meeting to inform me and Vice Chairman Chambliss that without prior notification or approval, CIA personnel had conducted a search, that was John Brennan's word, of the committee computers at the off-site facility. The CIA did not ask the committee or its staff if the committee had access to the internal review or how we obtained it. Instead, the CIA just went and searched the committee's computers.
Despite the fact that Feinstein says her concerns are based on what CIA Director Brennan has told her personally, Brennan is rejecting the accusations. This morning, in an interview with our own Andrea Mitchell, Brennan repeatedly insisted his agency was in the clear.
Let me assure you that CIA in no way was spying on the SSCI or the Senate. We greatly respect the separation of powers between the executive branch and the legislative branch.
As far as the allegations of, CIA hacking into, Senate computers, nothing could be further from the truth. I mean, we wouldn't do that. I mean, that's just beyond the scope of reason.
But what exactly falls within John Brennan's scope of reason? And more importantly, why has the Senate's 6,300-page report on the CIA's detention and interrogation program, something that was finished over a year ago, why has that report not been released? After her speech this morning, Senator Feinstein told reporters that she hopes to make a motion to declassify that report by the end of the month. Her next hurdle will be getting enough votes to do just that. Joining me now is the senior Democratic senator from Colorado and member of the Senate Intelligence Committee, Senator Mark Udall. Senator, thank you so much for joining me on this very important news day. What do you think the significance is of Senator Feinstein, someone who has been very defensive about our intelligence gathering institutions, if you will? What do you think the significance is of her coming out and repudiating what Director Brennan has said and also questioning the constitutionality of the CIA's actions?
Alex, you're right. It's been a dramatic and a historic day. The facts speak for themselves. I'm very pleased that Senator Feinstein took to the Senate floor to lay out the chronology of events. I'm on the Senate Intelligence Committee, as you pointed out. I take my oversight responsibility very, very seriously. I believe we have to serve as the conscience of the nation. We have to uphold the public trust. I've been pushing Director Brennan and his predecessors since 2011 to work with us to complete this report and then to release it. And unfortunately, Director Brennan has not been as forthcoming as he should have been, and then the CIA is attempting to undermine our investigation by illegally accessing our computers. And I've got to tell you that my confidence in Director Brennan is at the lowest level it's ever been, particularly given today he wouldn't acknowledge the misconduct that the CIA has undertaken, even though, as Senator Feinstein pointed out, he had come to Senators Feinstein and Chambliss and told them that the CIA had accessed the computers that the Senate intelligence staff utilizes. Now, maybe the word hacking doesn't mean the same as accessing computers. Maybe we're playing a semantic game here, but the CIA, simply put, spied on the committee. It's not acceptable, and this is not respecting the separation of powers doctrine that's at the heart of our system of government.
Well, if Director Brennan is not respecting the separation of powers, if he has violated the rights outlined in the U.S. Constitution, do you think he should resign?
Well, the clock is running. My confidence is at the lowest level it's ever been. I think there may be one more opportunity to put things to right here, but the CIA has an important role to play. But if the public doesn't trust the CIA, if the Senate overseers don't trust the CIA, I don't know how Director Brennan can continue to lead the agency. There are a lot of smart, dedicated, patriotic Americans who protect us through our intelligence operations. But there has to be confidence that the CIA also respects the balance of powers and the separation of powers. And that respect has not been shown by the CIA's actions in accessing our computers illegally. It's spying, unfortunately.
Yeah, and beyond that, I mean, one of the most distressing things that Senator Feinstein said today was in relation to the Panetta review, the CIA's internal review that the CIA did not seem to want the Senate Intelligence Committee to access. She said what was unique and interesting about the internal documents from the CIA was not their classification level, but rather their analysis and acknowledgement of significant CIA wrongdoing. And the notion that she perhaps is keeping a copy of this Panetta review in the Hart office building because of concern that the CIA would destroy these documents.
That's exactly the situation we face, Alex. I've been pushing for the release of the Panetta review over these last months because it does directly contradict what the CIA has been telling us as they reviewed this 6,000-page study, analysis, and set of conclusions. The interrogation and detention program, it was brutal, it was flawed, and it was ineffective. I call it torture. Let's get it out. America's at its best when we admit our mistakes, learn from our mistakes, and lift the stain that these programs placed on us in the last decade. We can make this right, but not if the CIA is going to deny and intimidate and undermine our oversight role that's so crucial to the separation of powers in our country.
Let me ask about the Senate Intelligence Committee report, which is several thousand pages long. Do you think Senator Feinstein has the votes at this point, especially given the turn of events today, to get that report declassified and out?
I certainly believe that the votes are there. I don't think this should be a partisan issue. When we first approved the committee report last year, I believe, actually I think it was late in 2012 to be more accurate, there was bipartisan support. I wish there was more bipartisan support because in the end this shouldn't be a partisan issue. We're all responsible to uphold the public conscience. We're all responsible to make sure that the American people have trust in our intelligence community's operations. So the votes are there. I would hope that everybody in the committee would take a close look at the report and realize that the truth shall set you free. And we can, yeah.
Senator, this is a problem certainly for one administration, which is to say the Bush administration, these torture allegations, but it could also complicate the President administration, which has appointed John Brennan to be its CIA director. Today, in a press briefing, Jay Carney stressed that this president ended the torture programs under George W. Bush and stressed that he wants to have a transparent government and has made reforms to ensure or at least move us closer to a more transparent intelligence gathering operation. How much of an issue is Director Brennan's stewardship of the agency? How much of an issue is that for the White House, in your mind?
If Director Brennan doesn't change course, and if the CIA isn't disclosive, and if the CIA doesn't respect the separation of powers, it means that this administration hasn't gone as far as it said it wanted to go. The president did the right thing in ending the program. The president's done the right thing in calling for more transparency. But this is a special moment. This is an important moment. And Director Brennan and the CIA need to stop undermining the role of the Intelligence Committee. They need to work with us to release this report And that will add to this president's legacy. It will add to the openness of our society, and it strengthens us around the world. America doesn't torture. America respects the separation of powers, and that's the opportunity here. But Director Brennan has to grab it, and the president, I believe, needs to direct Director Brennan to work with us in ways that he hasn't heretofore.
Do you feel like have you had any correspondence with the White House today? Do you have any sense of whether or not they are pushing Director Brennan to be more cooperative?
I have been urging the White House over these last 2 years, because this has been a cause of mine over these last 2 years. It's been a lonely mission, Alex. There haven't been many people paying attention to this, but I've pushed the White House in many, many ways to get ahead of this for the right reasons. I'm continuing to do so. I did so today. I'm going to continue to do so as we move forward. It's time to release this report. It's time to let the truth come out. We'll be the stronger for it. And by the way, we will have respected the separation of powers. We oversee, that is the Congress, the executive branch of this country. Coloradans know it. Americans know it. It's a foundational principle of our form of government.
Well, you have now, it seems, a partner in Senator Dianne Feinstein, a dramatic turn of events, as we said at the beginning of this segment. Senator Mark Udall, thank you for your time and your thoughts.
Thanks, Alex.
Coming up, Dick Cheney goes on the record about someone named Dick Cheney. That's next.